So you're excited to learn piano, but when you sit down to play, does it sound clunky? Do your hands get tired after only a few minutes? That's not just beginner struggles. Those are specific, sneaky habits that are holding you back. Hi, I'm Miss Jennifer at Somerset Academy of Music, and I'm going to show you 6 of the most common mistakes I see, and more importantly, how to fix them right now so that you can play with more clarity and less tension starting today. Hey, welcome back. You know that feeling of frustration? Every single piano player has been there. You've got the passion, you're putting in the hours, but something just gets lost between your brain and your fingertips. The good news? It has nothing to do with talent. It all comes down to technique. I've taught hundreds and hundreds of students, and I see the same handful of mistakes that trip them up over and over again. Think of them as secret saboteurs, making your piano journey way harder than it needs to be. So today, we're putting them on blast. For each mistake, I'll explain why it's a problem, and I'll give you a simple fix that you can use in your very next practice session. By the end of this, you'll have a clear path to playing with more confidence, more control, and way less frustration. Let's get into it. All right, the very first mistake, and honestly the one that everything else is built on, is bad posture and hand position, and what I like to call pancake hands. So many beginners sit hunched over too close to the piano with their wrists drooped low and their fingers totally flat. Not only is this a fast track to back and shoulder pain, but it completely chokes off all your power and movement. When your wrists are bent and your fingers are flat, you're asking the tiny finger muscles to do all the heavy lifting. That's why they get tired so fast, and that's why your playing sounds weak. That natural curve is exactly what you want. Your fingertips should touch the keys, and your wrist should be level, not drooping down or bent up. To fix that karate chop pinky, just focus on keeping the pinky curved like this, like all the other fingers. It might feel weak at first, but you're teaching it to be part of a relaxed, strong hand shape. The benefit is instant. With good posture and hand shape, you will start using the natural weight of your arm to play, not just your fingers. This gives you a richer sound, lets you play longer without getting tired, and sets you up to play faster and more complex music down the road. This next one is maybe the biggest giveaway of a beginner, and that is completely ignoring rhythm. It's so easy to get hyper-focused on hitting the right notes that you forget to play them at the right time. This is what causes the hesitant, uneven playing, with awkward pauses before hard parts and rushing through the easy bits. The music loses its pulse, its heartbeat, and it just sounds robotic. Even with all the right notes, no rhythm means no music. The solution is simple, and it's non-negotiable. You have to become friends with counting and maybe even a metronome. I know, the metronome can be so annoying with that constant clicking, but it is the single best tool for building a rock-solid sense of time. By starting the tempo slow, really slow, I mean painfully slow, I mean so slow you can't possibly make a mistake. The goal isn't speed, it's perfect accuracy. Make sure every note lands exactly on the click. Now, once you can play it perfectly a few times in a row, then and only then, bump the tempo up a few beats. This slow, steady process builds the right muscle memory. You're teaching your hands not only what to play, but when to play it. If a certain rhythm is tripping you up, isolate it. Clap it or tap it on your lap with the metronome until the beat feels natural. Then take it back to the piano. The payoff here is huge. You develop an internal clock that makes your playing sound confident and polished. the hesitation disappears and the music finally starts to flow. This is how you go from just hitting notes to actually making music. This one comes from such a good place. You hear some breathtaking, complicated piece and you think, I just have to learn that. I love the ambition, but jumping into music that's way beyond your skill level is the fastest way to get frustrated and burnt out. So many beginners fall into this trap and spend months wrestling with one impossible piece. They drill it over and over because it's just too technically demanding. They just end up cementing mistakes and feeling like they're going nowhere. This is how pianos become expensive dust collectors. The fix requires a little humility. Pick pieces that you can realistically learn and polish in a month or two. In the beginning, the goal is to build a foundation of success. When you finish simpler pieces, it gives you a massive confidence boost and lets you focus on fundamentals like clean playing and dynamics instead of just struggling to find notes. A great way to find the right music is to use a method book series, which is designed to level up gradually. I will link some great lesson books in the comments section. If you're not doing that, if you don't want to use a method book, then look for pieces that are labeled beginner or elementary. And don't just listen to a piece, look at the sheet music. Are there huge jumps, crazy rhythms, a key signature with a million sharps or flats? If it looks scary, it probably is. Put it on your someday list and find something that you can play right now. The benefit? You will actually finish songs. This builds momentum and keeps you excited to practice. You'll learn faster because you're working on stuff that strengthens your skills instead of just shining the spotlight on your weaknesses. It's so much more rewarding to have a few pieces that you can play beautifully than one monster piece that you can only stumble your way through. By the way, if you're finding these tips helpful, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about giving you practical advice to make your piano journey awesome. And subscribing ensures you won't miss what's coming next. And while you're at it, give it a thumbs up too. I can almost hear your collective groan right through the screen. Yep, we got to talk about scales. So many players make the mistake of jumping right into songs and skipping the technical stuff like scales and arpeggios and exercises. It's tempting, I get it. They don't feel as fun as a familiar tune, but skipping them is like trying to build a house without a foundation. It's just not going to hold up. When you ignore scales, you're missing out on the best way to build finger independence, strength, and coordination. It also means you probably only feel comfortable in one or two keys like C major, which really limits you later on. The fix is this. Make it part of your warm-up every single time you practice. Don't think of it as a chore. Think of it as an athlete stretching before a game. The specific fingerings of scales are designed to teach your hands the most efficient way to move around the keyboard, a skill that translates directly into every piece you will ever play. Practice hands separately at first, then together. The goal isn't lightning speed, it's control, precision, and an even tone. I have tons of scales tutorials on this channel to help you master every single one of them. I'll put some links here. There are also great finger exercise books like Hannon that give you a structured routine for building that core strength. Another technical exercise series that I encourage is called A Dozen a Day by Edna Mae Berman. I've got some videos on those books as well, and I will put a link in the description where you can buy both the Hannon and the Dozen a Day books. The benefit is that literally everything else gets easier. When you practice scales consistently, your fingers will feel more nimble. You will know your way around the keyboard without even thinking. You'll learn new pieces way faster because the patterns will already feel familiar to your hands. This is the behind the scenes work that makes playing look effortless. This is a really common trap, especially for self-taught players, getting the wrong idea about how music is written. I'll put a link right here for a video on how to read the notes on the grand staff. A lot of beginners think treble clef is for the right hand and bass clef is for the left hand. While that's often true, in a very simple way, it's not a rule. The clefs are just about pitch. The treble clef is for the higher notes on the right side, and the bass clef is for the lower notes on the left side. As you progress, your right hand will absolutely have to cross over the left and vice versa. Believing the clefs equal a hand myth will cause major confusion later. Another reading mistake is what I call the one finger hog, where someone just uses their index finger to poke out a melody on the piano like this, instead of using the fingering that's written on the page. It might feel easier for a second, but it's super ineffective and inefficient, and it puts a hard ceiling on how fast or smoothly you'll ever be able to play. The fix is to treat reading music like learning a language. Don't just see a note and then hunt for it on the keyboard. See it in context. First, know what the clef is telling you about the note's pitch. Is it a high note or a low note? Second, treat the little finger numbers in your music like they're gold. They're there for a reason. They show you the most efficient way to play that passage. If it says 1, use your thumb. If it says 5, use your pinky. Force yourself to follow them, even when it feels weird at first. You're training your hands to be smart. Following the proper fingering from day one builds the dexterity you need to play fluently and tackle advanced music with way more ease. And the final mistake is a 2-for-1, abusing the sustained pedal and ignoring all the expressive details in music. Beginners often discover the rightmost pedal and fall in love. It makes everything sound so big and connected. The problem is they hold it down forever, blurring all the notes and chords and making it sound like a soupy, muddy mess. The pedal ends up becoming a crutch to hide sloppy playing, not a tool to create beautiful sounds. The other side of this is getting so lost in the notes and rhythm that you ignore the dynamics, the louds and softs, the articulation, the smooth and choppy, and the tempo changes. This turns a beautiful piece of music into a mechanical exercise. The fix for the pedal is to first learn the piece cleanly without it. Your fingers need to be able to connect the notes smoothly all by themselves. Once you can do that, then you can use the pedal with purpose. A good rule of thumb is to change the pedal every time the harmony or the chords change to avoid a clashing sound. Just listen. Does it sound blurry? If it does, lift your foot. For musicality, you have to treat the expression marks as being just as important as the notes. From the moment you start learning a piece, pay attention. If you see a P for piano, which means soft, actually try to play softly. If you see an F for forte, which means loud, dig in a little. If you see a slur, connect the notes and make them smooth. If you see dots, the staccato marks, play them short and bouncy. Don't tell yourself you'll add those later. You need to start practicing those from the beginning. The benefit here is what separates a piano player from a true musician. Using the pedal correctly and playing with dynamics and articulation is how you bring music to life. It gives your playing depth, emotion, and character. This is what connects people and makes playing the piano so incredibly rewarding. So that's it. The 6 mistakes that might be holding you back, and more importantly, the simple way to fix them. Let's do a super quick recap. Number 1, sit up straight with curved fingers. Number 2, make counting and the metronome your best friends. Number 3, pick pieces you can actually finish. Number 4, warm up with scales every single time. Number 5, read the finger numbers on the music. Number 6, use the pedal with your ears, not just your foot, and play with expression. Remember, learning piano is a journey, not a race. A consistent 20 minutes a day is way better than an hour session once a week. Don't get down about making mistakes. They're just signposts showing you what you need to work on next. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these mistakes hit a little too close to home for you? Let me know in the comments. What's the one thing you're going to focus on in your next practice session? Sharing your goal is a great way to make it real. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video real soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.